Hello everybody, this is Era again, and this week I listened to a podcast from Herminia Ibarra on why leadership feels awkward. Now, at this point, I have started listening to several podcasts, and a lot of the time they actually are not what I expected or are interested in, so I, abandon ship and go to something else. This one really spoke to me because I do feel awkward when acting in a leadership position a lot of the time. And this is something that I have struggled with both in, the doctoral program that we're in and in job positions, because it's kind of like the imposter syndrome where you may be an expert, but you don't feel like you are because there's always so much more to know. And that's kind of where I feel like I am in my life. I know a lot about technology and different things, but there is so much more that I don't know. So I believe that a lot of grad students go through this process, and probably a lot of leaders go through this process. So I really, really liked this podcast for those reasons. They begin by discussing that leadership will feel awkward because you are being inspired to do things that feel uncomfortable to you, and you have to keep up and reflect on new experiences and embrace the changes by acting differently than you normally would. And any change requires a different action. And that's what is so interesting about change theory. I think a lot of us want to be better and we want to be more efficient or more productive, but actually making the change, as my last podcast said, only 1 in 10 will actually get to that change. So you have to be uncomfortable and you have to do those things, and it doesn't feel good sometimes. So some things that were mentioned in this podcast is to build your network, talk to other people, pitch your ideas to other people. And a lot of the time they really connect with that. And, especially for introverts or people who might be a little bit shy, which I actually am, I have a hard time thinking that, do they really care what I have to say? And do I really want to put my thoughts out there? So it's a scary proposition for people. The other thing is to try small steps to test out new versions of who you want to be. So make small changes. Do it at a conference, or do it in a presentation, or even playing a game to decide, this is the way I want to act at this point. I think these are all really important pieces of self-discovery. We actually have to be authentic but different than we were in the past, and getting to that authentic place sometimes is uncomfortable, and it feels very awkward when we're in the midst of trying to make these changes. Also recommended is to be patient with yourself and to seek out opportunities and professional development and training that can help you with leadership skills and help you practice these skills, which can be learned. So this moves us on to continuing to paint our picture. Last week, I discussed creating a picture to make a plan for your life and for your happiness. And this week, the value of enacting self-change is the next step in developing that painted picture of who you decided you wanted to be and who you want to present to the world. As Dobrovolsky stated, see it, believe it, act on it. The BodyMind Connection is important in these activities that we are completing along with listening to our podcasts. So I signed up for my run as well, and I'm getting ready to do my first one on the farm chores, so that should be exciting. I also have a Fitbit that I use, and I really enjoy looking at those things that I do. Macedonia and Repetto in 2017 argue that activity induces neurogenesis. This means that New cells are being formed in your brain, and that certainly is going to help us when we're learning. It also triggers the release of neurotrophin, BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It's a protein that in humans is encoded by a gene. The protein promotes the survival of nerve cells and plays a role in the growth, maturation, and maintenance of those cells. Also, activity grows the hippocampus and entorhinal cortex, induces positive cognitive control, regulates neurotransmitter release so we can think better, and decreases mood disorders. All of those things will help us to become better seekers and better thinkers when interacting with these knowledge-seeking activities that we are completing. So to continue with my theme, I want to show you how to increase your networking skills by sharing a simple post on Facebook. I actually learned this last week when I posted my Facebook post on the discussion board, and I didn't know how to do it, so I had to look it up. So I wanted to share that with you all today. So here we've moved over to Facebook, and here's our Check It Out page. And what I am going to show you to do is how to share a post. Now, sometimes you want to share a post, for example, on a discussion board, but maybe in an email to a colleague who doesn't participate in social media or something of that nature. I know that I find a lot of great articles and activities on social media that I want to share with people, but I can't find the information anywhere else, or, whatever the case may be. So the way to share a post is you find the post you want to share. We're going to do this Best TED Talks. You look at the published by date, and if you hover over it, it'll turn into a hyperlink. Just click that link. That's going to go ahead and take you to the actual post. And at that point, you can copy the address at the top of your page and go ahead and test it out, maybe in another browser. We'll open Edge, paste that, and you'll see that that will take you to post. You can also right-click on the timestamp and copy the link address and paste it into your email or whatever it is you're trying to share with. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast review, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.